Taylor Swift unveils The Life of a Showgirl, a dazzling self-portrait behind the curtain. By entertainment correspondent. In the glittering world of pop music, few artists have mastered the art of reinvention the way Taylor Swift has. From her early country roots in Nashville to the synth-laced shimmer of her pop anthems, Swift has continuously expanded the boundaries of storytelling and sound. Tonight, she steps once again into a new era, one that bridges spectacle with intimacy, performance with reality, as she unveils The Life of a Showgirl, an album she describes as a self-portrait painted in song. The announcement was accompanied by a poetic reflection that reads like a curtain call to a life lived on stage. Greater than, tonight all these lives converge here. The mosaics of laughter and cocktails of tears. Where fraternal souls sing identical things. And it's beautiful. It's rapturous. It is frightening. With these words, Swift signals something deeper than just another album drop. The Life of a Showgirl feels like an invitation, an open door to the backstage of fame, vulnerability, and artistry. A theatrical unveiling. The performer and the person. Over nearly 2 decades in the music industry, Taylor Swift has been many things. The small-town songwriter, the glittering pop star, the indie storyteller, the reclaimer of her own masters, and now, the Showgirl, a title that implies both performance and endurance. In her announcement, Swift shared her gratitude to producers Max Martin and Shellback, longtime collaborators who helped craft hits such as Blank Space, Style, and Shake It Off. Calling them her mentors and friends, Swift emphasized the collaborative spirit behind the project. Greater than, a forever thank you goes out to my mentors and friends Max and Shellback for helping me paint this self-portrait, she wrote. The phrase, self-portrait, captures the essence of the record. While the visual aesthetics suggest glamour, sequins, and spotlight, the heart of The Life of a Showgirl lies in its introspection, an exploration of the person who exists once the applause fades. Behind the curtain, themes of vulnerability and power. Swift's statement, "If you thought the big show was wild, perhaps you should come and take a look behind the curtain," resonates as both a warning and an invitation. It is a nod to the dichotomy of fame, the bright stage lights contrasted with the solitude of dressing rooms, the applause offset by quiet reflection. For Swift, the metaphor of the showgirl functions on multiple levels. It acknowledges the artifice of entertainment while also celebrating the stamina it takes to perform, to endure, and to evolve. Industry insiders describe the new record as a concept album that blends live instrumentation with theatrical production, inspired by the golden age of Hollywood and the emotional complexity of modern life. Listeners can expect orchestral crescendos, dramatic storytelling, and a sonic landscape that merges the grandeur of 1989 with the intimacy of folklore. A journey of reinvention. Throughout her career, Taylor Swift has transformed public scrutiny into poetic narrative. Each album has served as a chapter in a larger autobiographical novel, chronicling her growth as both artist and woman. With The Life of a Showgirl, Swift appears to merge the spectacle of her public persona with the quiet truth of her private life. In interviews leading up to the release, those close to her suggest the record was inspired by her experiences on the Eras Tour, a monumental, globe-spanning performance that celebrated every phase of her career while revealing the human cost of constant reinvention. The title itself, The Life of a Showgirl, suggests a return to the fundamentals of performance, discipline, endurance, and grace. But it also hints at the exhaustion that accompanies living perpetually in the public eye. The showgirl smiles beneath the lights, even when her feet ache from endless choreography, even when her heart carries the weight of expectation. A collaboration rooted in trust. Max Martin and Shellback's involvement is no surprise to longtime fans. Their creative chemistry with Swift has yielded some of the most defining songs of 21st century pop. Yet, this time, their role feels different, less about chart-topping hooks and more about emotional architecture. According to industry sources, the producers helped Swift craft a sound that is both nostalgic and avant-garde. Drawing inspiration from cabaret, jazz, and cinematic pop, the record reportedly uses live string sections and vintage microphones to capture an atmosphere of authenticity. The partnership between Swift and her producers underscores a mutual respect that has matured over the years. They understand her storytelling instincts better than almost anyone else, one insider shared. This album isn't about chasing hits, it's about creating art that lasts. The poetry of the performer. The poetic excerpt accompanying Swift's announcement deserves particular attention. Its rhythm and diction resemble a stage monologue, one that distills years of experience into a few haunting lines. Greater than the mosaics of laughter and cocktails of tears, she writes, evoking both celebration and sorrow. The juxtaposition suggests the dual nature of the entertainment world, a place where beauty and heartbreak coexist. The imagery of fraternal souls singing identical things may reference the universality of art, how musicians, despite differing genres or backgrounds, often express the same human truths. And then comes the emotional trinity: beautiful, rapturous, frightening. These three words encapsulate the emotional range of performance, the allure of creation, the intoxication of success, and the vulnerability that follows. Art imitating life. In many ways, the life of a showgirl seems poised to be Swift's most self-aware work yet. If Midnights was a nocturnal meditation on fame and identity, this album may serve as its theatrical counterpart, a grand production where illusion and introspection dance in tandem. Critics have long noted Swift's ability to transform personal moments into universal anthems. Here, she appears to go one step further by transforming her entire public existence into performance art. Every lyric, costume, and chord becomes part of a larger narrative about authenticity and survival. Her reference to the album as a self-portrait reinforces this idea. Painters often reveal their truest selves through self-portraits, exposing imperfections and truths that photographs cannot capture. Swift's latest work may function similarly, not as a mirror for fame, but as a reflection of endurance. Visual identity. The glamour and the grit. The accompanying photograph, shot by the acclaimed duo Myrtle Lass and Marcus Piggott, captures the visual essence of the album. Known for their bold, cinematic aesthetic, Myrt and Marcus have previously collaborated with Swift on fashion editorials and promotional imagery. In the promotional photo, Swift embodies a modern showgirl, poised, confident, yet introspective. The image recalls the classic glamour of old Hollywood, blending soft lighting with high contrast to highlight both strength and vulnerability. Fashion insiders have already begun dissecting the symbolism behind the styling. The sequined costume suggests performance and spectacle, while the bare backdrop implies authenticity. It is the visual equivalent of Swift's lyrical themes, the performer. Unmasked, yet radiant. Cultural resonance and expectation. Few releases in modern pop culture carry the weight of a Taylor Swift album. Each new era sparks global conversation, from fan theories on social media to deep literary analyses of her lyrics. Since the Eras tour, Swift's audience has only grown more diverse, encompassing multiple generations and backgrounds. For many, she represents not just a musician, but a cultural chronicler, someone who articulates the complexities of modern womanhood, fame, and emotion. The life of a showgirl arrives at a time when the lines between performance and reality are increasingly blurred, both in entertainment and in everyday life. Social media has turned everyone into a performer of sorts, constantly curating their identities for public consumption. In this context, Swift's exploration of what it means to perform takes on new significance. From country roots to cosmic stage. Tracing Swift's journey offers valuable perspective on how the life of a showgirl came to be. Beginning as a teenage country prodigy with songs about heartbreak and adolescence, she quickly evolved into one of the most versatile storytellers of her generation. Albums like Red in 1989 marked her metamorphosis into pop royalty, while Reputation tackled the darker side of celebrity. Later, Folklore and Evermore showcased her narrative depth, blending indie folk with poetic introspection. Now, with the life of a showgirl, Swift seems to merge all those identities into one: the storyteller, the performer, the survivor, and the observer. Each era has been a performance. This album acknowledges them all as part of a single, unified story. Audience anticipation and industry impact. Within hours of the announcement, social media platforms lit up with speculation. Hashtags like #TheLifeOfA trended globally as fans dissected clues, decoded lyrics, and celebrated the return of Max Martin and Shellback. Music industry analysts predict record-breaking streaming numbers, noting that Swift's recent dominance across platforms has redefined the economics of modern pop. However, the commercial success seems secondary to the artistic statement she is making. By framing her album as a look behind the curtain, Swift subtly challenges her audience to consider what they expect from her, and what it means to constantly perform for a watching world. Legacy and artistic evolution. Taylor Swift's career has always been a study in control over narrative, music, and image. The life of a showgirl represents the next logical evolution, an artist not only performing her story but curating its mythology in real time. Observers note how her recent projects, including re-recordings, film ventures, and stage productions, have contributed to a greater understanding of authorship and ownership in the music industry. By presenting herself as the showgirl, Swift simultaneously acknowledges the spectacle and subverts it, claiming the role of both performer and director. A reflection on the modern showgirl. Historically, the term showgirl conjures images of Las Vegas glamour, precision choreography, and relentless professionalism. These women were icons of resilience and artistry, performing night after night beneath glittering lights. Swift's adaptation of this archetype for the 21st century carries profound symbolism. She transforms the showgirl from a symbol of spectacle into one of endurance, a metaphor for every woman balancing expectation, ambition, and authenticity. Her message is clear: behind every flawless performance lies a human being with stories untold. Critical expectations. As critics prepare to dissect the life of a showgirl, early industry buzz suggests that it may become one of Swift's most ambitious works yet. Some insiders describe it as her most cinematic album, a seamless blend of orchestral grandeur and lyrical vulnerability. If Midnight's explored the internal landscapes of fame, Showgirl appears to externalize them, transforming introspection into performance. Theatrical motifs, curtains, mirrors, lights, recur throughout, each serving as metaphor for identity and illusion. Global influence and artistic courage. Taylor Swift's influence extends far beyond music. She has reshaped the modern relationship between artist and audience, often using her platform to advocate for creative ownership, women's rights, and authenticity in art. In that sense, The Life of a Showgirl is more than an album, it's a statement of artistic endurance. It reaffirms Swift's role as a storyteller who dares to expose the machinery behind the magic. Her decision to spotlight mentors like Max Martin and Shellback also reflects humility and gratitude, qualities that have endeared her to millions. It reminds audiences that even the brightest stars are supported by collaboration, trust, and shared vision. The curtain rises again. As The Life of a Showgirl makes its global debut, one thing becomes clear: Taylor Swift has once again transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary. She invites her audience not only to witness the show but to understand the cost of creating it. The album's release is accompanied by anticipation, curiosity, and awe, but also by a quiet recognition of what it represents. For every dazzling costume, there is a story. For every lyric, a lived truth. The Life of a Showgirl is, ultimately, not just about Taylor Swift. It is about every artist who stands beneath the spotlight, giving a piece of themselves to the world, and finding beauty in the vulnerability that follows.